What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to review the Kanto U passive bookshelf speaker and the Kanto SX26 speaker stand. So check it out, guys. We got a 2-for-1 special. So the speakers, this is one of their more affordable speakers. They've got a few in their range, including some powered options. These are passive. They're $240. So I like that. It's a budget category. We're going to have some good comparisons when we get to that section. And then the stands, they have two different kinds of stands. They got more than two, but as far as taller ones, this is the more expensive SX26. It's about 400 bucks. This is for anyone who wants just absolutely solid, and I mean solid build quality and feature set when you're buying a speaker stand. They do have a more affordable one that's $130 or so, depending on the size you get. And I've experienced that one too. I bought that for my friend. I think it's called the SP26. I was super impressed with how well that stand was built when I bought that as a gift for my buddy. And that's what got me curious about Kanto's more expensive speaker stands. And then I realized, no one's going to watch a video if I just do a speaker stand review. So I went ahead and I bought the passive 5 1/4 also so that I can make this video all together. So again, real quick, the Kanto SP26 stands for 100 bucks or so, absolutely fantastic. I definitely recommend them. They got a lot of good mass to them. But if you want the absolute best in speaker stands, you want that thicker column, the SX26 is heavy duty. They come with spikes, rubber footers, you can adjust rake. It looks to be made out of like just this serious thick just column, and they come with bags actually also, so if you want to fill them with like rice or sand or lead shot or whatever, it's so easy. They have a giant channel for speaker wire. I mean, I was able to fit a 9-gauge through there, if that tells you anything. So that's enough about the stands. Let me tell you about these speakers. I'll throw the main specs on screen so you guys can check that out. I'm going to say about some standout features, what they sound like. We'll do some comparisons, and then we'll wrap up the video. So standout feature, in my opinion, is going to be the aesthetics. These have a very modern look. You know, they come in two colors, white and black. They have a carbon fiber looking cone, nice little wave guide here. I think it's a nice look, especially for $240. Usually the budget category, like under 300 bucks, there's a few performers that sound decent or good. They're not the best to look at. Emotiva B1, I'm looking at you. Sony SSCS5, I'm looking at you. They're not the best looking speakers. These look really nice. So what do they sound like? Can they compete with some of those speakers? Let's chat about it. So starting with the treble, it's going to be on the forward side of neutral. It's going to be more energetic, airy. It's a clarity focused speaker. This is for the type of customer that likes that treble energy. You want to hear those details. You don't mind a presentation that's on the forward side of neutral. Moving down to the mid-range, again, the upper mid-range has a little bit of a boost in it as well. So if you listen to like female vocals, EDM, things like that, this speaker is going to serve you very, very well. But I will say on some poor recordings, some rock and roll and things like that, it could be a little bit too aggressive for some people, depending on what your connected equipment is. Moving down to the bass, this is a small speaker. It's an affordable speaker. Usually small affordable speakers don't have a lot of bass. No surprise there. I would recommend a small subwoofer, something like the Emotiva SE8 paired with these, and an affordable amp like the Arylic A50 Plus. You're looking at $700 for an entire system. That would be absolutely fantastic. So that's what they sound like. How do they compare to some other speakers in and around this price range? So first, I want to say where I think these have the most value is for anyone who, has seen the reviews for the Emotiva B1 Plus, and you're like, man, that's like a sound I'm kind of going for, but the look is horrendous. I cannot do that. Some people absolutely hate the way that speaker looks. I'm not one of those people. I think it looks all right, but I definitely understand it's not going to fit every aesthetic or room decor. Whereas these, if you got a modern home like me, for example, these are going to look great anywhere. Let's do the comparison. Emotiva B1 Plus, its price varies. It's about 300 bucks, so it's about $50, $60 more than this speaker. The Emotiva B1 Plus is built out of HDF. This is most likely not built out of HDF, probably MDF is my guess. They're both vinyl wrapped speakers. They both have 5 1/4 inch drivers, very similar design, except the Emotiva B1 Plus uses an AMT tweeter. So both are on the forward side of neutral. Both are a little bit more energetic. The Emotiva is going to give you a little bit more treble separation because of that AMT tweeter, and it's going to sound a little bit more airy. Moving down to the mid-range, this is where they start to become very different. The Kanto U passive is going to have a mid-range that is more neutral, if not slightly forward, where the Emotiva B1 Plus is going to be a little bit of a V-curve speaker. Moving down to the bass, the Emotiva B1 Plus has fairly strong bass for how small it is. I would call it boosted bass, whereas the Kanto U passive is more linear with its bass, and you'd probably want to add a subwoofer to have the fullest sound. Between the two, I would say they look extremely different. I would simply choose based on aesthetics, or if you're super into like a very, very, very airy presentation, then you will prefer the Emotiva B1 Plus. If you prefer something that's going to fit with a variety of home decor and you don't like the V-curve of the Emotiva, you want that more neutral, slightly forward mid-range, you're going to prefer the Kanto U passive. So that's that comparison out of the way. Let's talk about these compared to the Project Speaker Box 5s. Those are a little bit more expensive also. Those are $349, so about $100 more. They look very similar, actually. They both have, this kind of carbon fiber looking driver. Same with the Emotiva, actually. But the biggest difference is going to be this. The Project Speaker Box 5 come in a gloss painted finish, which is insane at just $350. So if you like that more modern aesthetic, you've got $100 more and you want a painted finish, super easy. You just get the Project Speaker Box 5s. But if you're like, hey, I don't care if it's paint or vinyl, like I just want a nice looking speaker, both look fantastic. And they actually sound very, very, very similar. Both speakers from the upper mid-range on up are going to be on the forward, more energetic side of neutral. I would say their treble quality is fairly similar. The $100 more expensive Project Speaker Box 5 is going to have a little bit more refinement to it, but not a whole lot. Moving down to the mid-range, again, the speakers are very similar. Both have a mid-range that is going to be a little bit, and it's not a V-curve, it's a little bit forward, it's a little bit elevated. So those of you that listen to EDM, female vocals, it's going to sound fantastic. But if you got trashy recordings on either speaker, it's not going to sound the best. Moving down to the bass, again, the two speakers are very similar. Neither speaker has a ton of bass. Almost, I did a Mike Tyson, a bass. Neither speaker has a ton of bass. No disrespect, Mike Tyson. I love you. Greatest fighter there ever was. Both speakers, I would recommend a subwoofer. I would say it's this simple. If you're between the Project Speaker Box 5 and the Kanto U passives, you should simply choose based on, is the painted finish of the Project Speaker Box 5 worth $100 more, or would you rather save $100 and not have a painted finish and get the U passives? That's the biggest difference, honestly, because the two speakers sound very, very similar to my ears. Moving on, what's another affordable speaker we can compare this to? Triangle Bro 2. So that goes on sale fairly often, so I'm going to call that about a $250 speaker. The Triangle Bro 2, the treble is compared to the Kanto U passive. The Triangle, by direct comparison, is going to be on the darker side of neutral, and the Kanto U passive is going to be more open, airy, clarity focused. Moving down to the mid-range, both speakers have a good mid-range. The Triangle Bro 2 is going to be more on the warmer, richer side tonally, whereas the Kanto U passive is going to be more clarity focused, more open sounding and things like that. Moving down to the bass, the speakers have a very big difference. The Triangle Bro 2 has boosted bass. It's going to be stronger, more confident bass, whereas the Kanto U passive, again, it's going to be more on the linear side, and you're probably going to want to add a subwoofer. So as far as which one you should get, I would say it's super simple. If you like the warmer sound, you're going to go for the Triangle Bro 2. If you like the more clarity focused, more analytical sound, you're going to go for the Kanto U passive. So that wraps up that comparison. And at 3 comparisons, I think that's enough. So we're going to wrap things up here. At the end of the day, this is the takeaway. Kanto makes incredibly impressive speaker stands, whether it's the SP or the SX range. I highly recommend either one. This is my first experience with their speakers. At $249, I would say it's good for the money. It's aesthetically pleasing. The sound is clean and clear. And if that's what you're after, I think you're going to like them. Can you get better speakers for more money? Of course, guys, that's always the case. If your budget is, say, twice as much, almost, like, say, $420, the Hecko Aurora 300s are fantastic. If you've got more, you can just kind of keep going forever. But if your budget is that under $300 category, Usually my top recommendation is the E-Motiva B1 Plus, but this is going to be a good alternative to anyone who doesn't like that V-curve presentation. Until next time, guys, later.